Welcome to Octane Vane and welcome to the Nurburgring Nordschleife. Now, I'm here because it's the 30th anniversary of the Alfa 155. However, if you've seen my previous videos, you'll know that my 155 wasn't ready for this trip. But we came anyway, and we've got the t-shirts, and we have actually seen two other 155s, but we haven't managed to get in contact with them. So they are somewhere around the ring, but we haven't seen them on track. And I don't know if they're part of the Facebook group or if they were supposed to be here because of the event or if it was just complete coincidence. So we saw a black one and a blue one. They both look really tidy. I was hoping to get in touch with them, but unfortunately didn't have that chance. But it's been quite an exciting day down here at the ring. We have hired a car, so this BMW 125 behind me. We've already been out and done a few laps, and it's been quite exciting on track. There's been quite a few accidents today, so the track has been closed a couple of times. We did have the opportunity to get out and about and do some spectating and see some action from the side of the track, and we've also done about 4 laps between us in the 125, and it did clear up quite nicely, so I'll show you the footage of that a bit later on. Just getting ready to go and do one more lap in the Beamer before giving it back, but for now I just want to take you around the pits and show you some of the cars that are here today and that have been lapping the ring. So just take you for a bit of a walk around the pits. about being down here in the pits is the smell of these cars as they've come off the track. They're just, the brakes, they're all so hot, you can smell the engine, you know they've all been having a really good ragging, and yeah, it just adds to the atmosphere. It's something you really can't appreciate just watching it on video. What we'll do is hop back in the car, do a lap, and then we'll probably call it a day. So literally was just about to get back in the car and go and do a final lap of the day, and they've just announced that the track is closed. So there must have been an accident. We don't know how long it's going to be closed for, but it has already been closed 3 times today, and it takes at least an hour for the recovery vehicles to get out and clear up whatever is on the circuit. So I've done 3 laps myself this afternoon, and there's been yellow flags on all of them. So yeah, it has been a very busy session, and there's been a lot of accidents. So we'll just hang around and see how long it's going to take. We might go for a little drive elsewhere and then come back later, but the ambulance is just going off, so that's not a good sign. So hopefully whoever's in the accident is okay, and hopefully the track reopens soon. So we've just checked the website, and it says that the track is going to reopen at 6:30. Now it's officially closing at 7 o'clock, so whether they actually reopen it for what is basically 15 minutes of letting people through the barrier, because at 6:45 they would let the last car through, because obviously 10-minute lap, then that's closing at 7 o'clock so they can go home. So we're going to hang around, fingers crossed we get one more lap of the day, and it is such a beautiful day here at the Nurburgring. The sun has come out all afternoon, and yeah, the first lap I did was really busy, but the other laps after that were pretty clear, and I was really happy with them. So if we can get one more lap in this evening, that would just be absolutely fantastic. So we're just going to hang around and wait and see what happens. So they have reopened the track, and it only took them 20 minutes to recover the broken down car. So we've got another 50 minutes of track time. So we're going to hop back in and get one more hot lap, which is just amazing. So I was a bit disappointed when they said they'd close the track, and yeah, it's always dangerous doing one last lap, but let's see how it goes. So we've just finished our last lap. I don't know what the time was. I will have to check the video later when we get back, but that was really good fun. It was really a good lap. The only problem was I didn't have one clear lap today that didn't have a yellow flag on it. There were so many accidents and so many track closures that to get a clear run in was just impossible. So yeah, a bit disappointing for the last lap, but the sections that weren't under a yellow flag were really good fun, and although the car was a bit cold, it was still handling really nicely, and yeah, I had such a blast. So just a couple of things that I wanted to tell you really, just about the whole process of hiring a car if you want to come to the Nurburgring. So we've used this company behind me a couple of times, Rent4Ring. You can hire anything from a Suzuki Swift all the way up to this Ferrari. I know the Ferrari is about 700 euros a lap, so it's not the cheapest thing in the world to... Oh, hold on, I'm totally into the sun, that's really bad. Let me just turn around, you can have the Ferrari behind me. So the Ferrari is about 700 euros a lap to rent. You'll have to check their website for the finer details of everything, but the Swifts are reasonably affordable, and I really recommend it as a good way to get into doing a lap of the Nürburgring. It is a long way to come, especially from the UK. If you're driving your track car, it's pretty unpleasant if it's all stripped out and that sort of thing. It's basically a 1,000-mile round trip from the Midlands in the UK, so 500 miles each way if you use the Channel Tunnel, and yeah, it's a pretty long way to go in an uncomfortable track car. So if you've never driven the Ring before, I would recommend hiring something. I have no affiliation to Rent4Ring. There are many other companies around here who do a similar sort of thing and have different cars, different price structures and that sort of thing. So do your research, check online, see what you want to do. But if you do it with a few mates, it can really bring the cost down. And it works out roughly in a, you know, in a cheaper car like a Swift, you're looking at about €100 a lap, but that does include the €30 a lap fee. So really, for the wear and tear and fuel and everything that you're putting on a car like that, doing a whole lap of the ring, it's not actually that bad, right? There's another BMW that's just coming in, so that's like the one we had, obviously. So yeah, and I think they've got an M4, BMW M4, and you know, all the companies around here, there's a whole range of different cars. They've got a company just up the road's got the Hyundai Nurburgring i30, and they've got a Clio Sport, I think it is. So you know, there's a whole range that you can choose from. And if you split it with a few mates, basically the way the rent for ring works now is the first lap is more expensive, and then laps after that are much cheaper. So if you go in with a mate, you split the expensive cost of the first lap between the two of you. And so our Beamer was €200 for the first lap, and then €130 a lap after that. So I did 4 laps in total, and my mate just drove 1 lap. So the total that we paid today was just over €1,100, and the reason for that is we also took the extra insurance. Now this is really important because the excess on the car for the standard hire is €10,000 on the Beamer that we had. Now that basically means whatever damage you do to the car, you pay the first £10,000 of the repair. Now we paid €400 extra, and that got us the extra insurance. And basically what that gives you is it brings that 10 grand excess down to 5 grand, but more importantly, it also gives you cover for the Armco and the Nürburgring. So if you're bringing your own car from the UK, you're probably not insured. You can get separate Nürburgring track insurance, but it's very limited, has a very high excess. The last time I checked, I think it was 5 grand excess, maximum payout 25 grand. And you can go on the Nürburgring's website and see what they charge for you hitting the barriers. Now, there's lots of different things that they will charge you for. Basically, if you hit the barrier, which they call the Armco, they will charge you for removing one of the posts. They will charge you to put a new post in, and then they charge you for every metre, I think it is, of Armco that they put back in. Now, in some sections of the track, the Armco is actually 3 or 4 sections high. It's not just one piece that you see on the motorway in the UK, you know, it's 4 high. So they will charge you for each one of those 4. If you go off the track and hit that and then go back across the track, say you come off on a corner and then you go back across the other way and you spill oil over the track, then they will have to close it because it's a safety issue, so they will have to close it so they can clean it up. They will also charge you for the time that the track is closed, because obviously they're losing a lot of revenue. So it's really easy to rack up a 10 grand bill. I think the last time I checked online, someone had a 25 grand bill from the Nürburgring. That didn't even include the repairs to their car. That was just what they had to pay for track closure and Armco repairs and all that kind of stuff. So when you put it like that, and it's going to cost you, it was basically the way it worked with the rent for ring was €250 for the first driver and then €150 for the second driver. But me and my mate just split it 2 ways, so it's basically €200 each. So that means that you're covered. The maximum you will pay, it doesn't matter how much you trash the car and how hard you hit the Armco, the maximum you're paying is €5,000, which it just takes that edge off. You know, it just means that you can push a little bit harder knowing that, you know, you're not paying that much. I mean, 5 grand is still way more than anyone probably can afford, and the reason you're here hiring a car is because you can't afford your own car, sort of thing, or you don't want to take your own car. So it's not like I was here willing to spend 5 grand, but when you put it as spend 200 quid and reduce 25 grand to 5 grand, then, you know, I think it's worth it. So yeah, we've all had a brilliant day. The sun has been shining all day today. Not had one clear lap, unfortunately. As I said, the yellow flags were out a lot. There was a lot of track closures, a few accidents. I did hear some pretty unhappy stories of a couple of things that happened to a couple of drivers, so I hope they do recover. But yeah, generally a fantastic weekend, and if anyone has any questions about accommodation or how to come to the ring, or, you know, if you haven't been before, there are loads of websites that can give you some information. But if you've seen something in this video today that has taken your fancy and you want to know a bit more about it, then please drop me a message or leave a comment below and I'll be more than happy to answer. So yeah, we're going to go for a beer and some dinner, and then tomorrow we are going to go around the museum. Thanks for watching and catch you next time.